Welcome to the Saturday edition of Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath and again joined by Mark Olmos. Mark, 8 races to take a look at.
Yeah, it starts off with a good card, 2-year-old race. I'm very intrigued in that. A few others in there too.
Small fields, but they do look to be close betting races, so really looking forward to it. Let's take a look at the conditions that we are going to be faced with. 39 degrees in Perth. It is going to be a warm one. The Moogle rail is out 9 metres, so be intrigued to see if there is an early pattern with that heat. It may be hard to run on. Let's take a look at race number 1. It is the Morley Growers Market Plate over the 1200 metres, an event for the 2-year-olds.
One particular form line coming out of this one, Adam. Wrinkly last start winner beating the $1.16 favourite on that occasion, Kimbo's Girl. Riama was a very good run out of that race too. I really like that performance, but we'll have a look at that run. Wrinkly winning.
With him at the top of the straight. They're two in front of Riama. Rock and Roll Train followed then at the head of the others by Clever Dick and Nice Go. It's Wrinkly at the 200 though from Kimbo's Girl, and Riama finishing on pretty well. Wrinkly though holding Kimbo's Girl inside the last 100. It's Wrinkly drawing away. Kimbo's Girl can't do any better than Riama, but it's Wrinkly in the first. Wrinkly beat Kimbo's Girl.
Strong performance by Wrinkly on that occasion. Went to the front, which was a little bit of a surprise, but dictated. And we mentioned going into that run that the prior 1,000 metre performance was good. It stepped up from the 400 metre trial into the 1,000, so there was already going to be improvement, and then got bumped on that occasion. Clear running out in front, tacked the line strongly. I think it was a really good performance. You touched upon Riama though, another good performance on debut of the 1,200 metres, and now gets a 2 kilo swing, so I can understand where some of the support would come. Only beaten 1.5 lengths, and as I mentioned, second run you'd expect that it will improve. Maybe you can close that margin.
Very, very keen on that horse. We'll also touch on number 9, Ellen's Choice. Regano filly with race experience, which does count for a lot in these races.
I was really impressed with the way as well that she was able to attack the line on that occasion. She was only beaten a length by Fair Nikita, which has got a little bit of speed, but ran on strongly. It was still a little bit green. Patrick Carberry really had to knuckle her down late. So again, going from a 400 metre trial to that 1,116 debut, I'm expecting big improvement like we saw with Wrinkly in the same comparison type. So I think she can certainly run into the top 4. And we'll take a look at selections now. I'm going to tip number 1, Wrinkly. From 2, Riama. Number 7, My Journey from the Durant Stable. And 9, Ellen's Choice.
I've got Riama on top here, Adam. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes again behind Wrinkly. Number 1, Wrinkly. Number 4, Destined for Fame. Number 9, Ellen's Choice.
Race number 2 at Ascot. It is over the 2,400 metres. 9 runners to take a look at, and Mark, a few of these have been going head-to-head for a while now.
Yeah, particularly Cougar Express up the top there. That's why it's up the top. Bayatorio as well. Uncle George is proven stayer, but we'll have a look at the replay of Cougar Express.
Cougar Express, Keysbrook have come together. Dark Alert comes again though, and then Uncle George followed by Immense and Saxy Grace. Cougar Express, Keysbrook, Dark Alert. Johnson Porter now releases the brakes, and now Dark Alert races up, draws level with Cougar Express. Keysbrook can't go on, then Uncle George, but Dark Alert with the head in front of Cougar Express, who comes back. They went to the line. Dark Alert, 4 in a line.
Strong performance there by Cougar Express, just beaten ahead by Dark Alert, and did fight on strongly on that occasion, carrying the 57 kilos. Carries the same weight here because in-form apprentice Aaron Mitchell takes the ride. Love this horse over the 2,400 metres. 3 attempts for a victory and 2 seconds. For mine, it's the in-form galloper. It's the one that is very consistent. You know what you're going to get, and for mine, that is why it'll be the top selection of mine.
A big chance, and the apprentice on makes a big difference. Bayatorio as well, another one who's been racing quite well. Lightly weighted behind Seika. Last start, another chance.
Yeah, it has been going well, as you mentioned. And my only concern, 15 attempts now at the track, still hasn't been able to win. So although not running any worse than 5th, I think it's now in its last 8 runs, still hasn't won. So it's a 630-day drought now. Hasn't won any further than 1,400 metres. Going to the 2,400. There's a few things that I think you can lean towards other horses in the race.
Number 9, Uncle George as well, is proven stayer at the bottom of the weights here.
Has been supported in all of its runs this campaign as well. You can see in that recent replay that we just saw, it was running on, finished 3rd. William Pite taking the ride. My query, it goes up a kilo as Cougar Express stays at the same weight, so can it turn that 1 length defeat around? We'll wait and see, but also hasn't won for 931 days. So again, although being consistent, isn't able to get the job done, and that is why I will be tipping number 1 Cougar Express on top from 9 Uncle George, 4 Keysbrook and 2 Bayatorio.
I've got Cougar Express on top as well from Uncle George, Bayatorio and Keysbrook, 1, 9, 2 and 4.
Race number 3 at Ascot. It is over the 1,600 metres, and Mark, this is probably the race I'm most looking forward to on the card.
Absolutely, and that one at the top of the weights again, Northridge, Fred Kersley trained galloper. Absolutely flying this preparation. A little bit worried about the weight here, but we'll have a look at the replay from last start.
Going up near the inside as Muskets at Dawn hits the lead at the 250. He's in front from Right Honourable. Here comes Northridge though. He's sprouting wings down the middle of the track. Northridge with 150 to go, and he dashed past Muskets at Dawn. Mr. Mankini, Bravo Romeo, but it's all Northridge, and he's drawing away from them. Northridge edge clear from Muskets of Dawn to win.
Strong performance there by Northridge, as you mentioned. Has had the 2 runs back this campaign. The 7 of 12 looked much better than it read. Attacked the line strongly on that occasion. We took those form lines in, had Northridge on top last start, and it was a dominant victory, as you mentioned, of beating Muskets at Dawn by 1.3 kilos. Muskets at Dawn gets 1.5 kilos swing here, but I think going up that extra 100 metres will favour Northridge again.
Definitely the only worrying factor is that weight, as we spoke about. Number 5, Outlaw Pete, was the eye-catcher last start behind Northridge, I thought. Ran third, from near last to third.
Outlaw Pete's been doing this a little bit. Hasn't won for 497 days, but there's just signs that we're starting to see the old Outlaw Pete, that maybe he's starting to return to those strong form lines. The run behind, he's been in the same races as Northridge this campaign, finished behind him in both, but the run, as you mentioned last start, just got out late, attacked the line strongly, dived to finish third. Meets Northridge 2 kilos better here for those 2 lengths. So if you are looking for some value, this might be the way. Drawn inside of Northridge as well, barrier 4, should get a pretty nice run. I really like Outlaw Pete in this race.
Socially Unique as well, after winning last start and a moral beat in the start before, can definitely feature again.
As you mentioned, a moral the start before was just held up in traffic, got out nicely last start and was a comfortable win on that occasion. Glenn Smith was suspended on that ride. William Pike riding here again, barrier 6 at 55.5 kilos. There's nothing you can knock about this horse. It's just whether its top end is as good as Northridge and Outlaw Pete. I think it is. I think it can certainly be in the mix. I'm not going to tip it on top, but I do think it'll be in that top 4 and certainly right there in the finish. Taking a look at the selections, I'm going to go with number 5, Outlaw Pete, on top of number 1, Northridge, 8, Socially Unique, and 7, Crystal Gardens.
My selections are 8, Socially Unique, 5, Outlaw Pete, 1, Northridge, 9, Bonovox, 8, 5, 1 and 9.
Race number 4 at Ascot, it is over the 1,000 metres, and I found this probably the hardest race to analyse of the day. Form lines from all over the place. Jintang hasn't run for a while. A couple of trials as well. It was certainly very hard to map out. The speed map was vital.
Also a few coming back in distance to the 1,000 as well, Adam. We'll have a look at the replay of number 5, Express Boy, from last start.
Has to come around the outside of Tin Tilly. They're followed by Express Boy back in the middle. Down to the 250, Surly Hurley races past Woven. It's Surly Hurley, a length and a half clear. In behind them, Express Boy is starting to weave its way through. It's Surly Hurley, Express Boy down the outside, Tin Tilly and Woven on the rail, but Express Boy put paid to them in the final part. Express Boy too good from a...
Well, Express Boy is one of those coming back down to the 1,000 metres as well. On debut, winning there over the 1,116 with Aaron Mitchell to ride. Thought it was a really good performance by this galloper in a reasonable field as well, but my concern is just it took a little time to knuckle down, and for mine probably wants further than the 1,100 metres and now drop him down to the 1,000, so I think it might be caught out in this field.
They won't be too disappointed with barrier 10 and having to go back. Will allow it to run on, like you said, probably get that trip later on in its preparation. Number 1, Jingtan, has the wide gate as well here and is fresh. Interesting to see what they'll do with that horse.
I'm really intrigued to see how Jingtan returns here. When we saw that victory at Northern when winning by just over 2 lengths, everyone went, this is a serious horse, and we were quite excited to see about it. There was a bit of specking leading into the Belgravia and disappointed on that occasion, had excuses. Then the Placid Arc as well finished 7 of 12, 4.5 lengths behind, let it slip. But Jintang is the type that has the speed and class to win a race like this. It's just whether this horse is 100% fitness and ready to race as well. Paul Harvey takes the ride, of course, he was the winner in that race at Northern. So let's hope for a fully fit Jintang, and if it is, it'll be very hard to beat.
Absolutely. Number 11 as well, Recoiled, its first start, coming off 1 trial. One, but not an outstanding time. Thoughts?
No. Yeah, it wasn't an outstanding time at all. Look, I'm actually going to be tipping this horse, and I'll often prefer to go with race experience and knowing that they're match fit, ready to go, but I really like this trial. As you mentioned, the time wasn't great at all, but Jason Brown did not touch it. It was a very quiet trial for this gelding by Demerit. He even close to the line was really holding on, making sure there was nothing stretching out. So I thought it was really good. The blinkers on, perfect draw in barrier 3. I think you'll get a little bit of value here about Record, and that's the way that I'm going to tip. Number 11 on top from 1 Jintang, number 10 Jatumi, and 8 Brisanto.
I've got 8 Brisanto on top in the Magnificio colours from 6 Loopy's Ladies. Number 2, Snack Pack. Number 9, I Am Theodore. 8, 6, 2 and 9.